Good day everyone and welcome back to MasterCAD Academy classes. In today's video, we are going to learn how to use the layer command settings, which is found in the ribbon bar area. So we use the layers to create preset properties which enables us to enhance our drafting experience and be able to change between these properties as swiftly as possible. Previously, we used to change the line properties manually using the property panel. So to recap, let's draw a line over here and select it. Then we can change, for example, the color. Okay? We can change the thickness of the line, as you can see, and we can even change the line type. So let's say we choose dash line type. Alright? Bear in mind, if we open a new drawing, the default setting for the three properties is set by layer, meaning that the properties is set according to the current layer settings, which brings us to our today's topic. So in this panel, I can create several layers, each with its own preset properties, which will allow me to change between the properties easily instead of changing manually every time I need to. In previous tutorials, we've learned that the way to go about drafting is to start with construction lines, then draw solid lines over it. So we used to choose yellow as our color, then choose a thin line, for instance 0.09 mm. Okay, let's draw something quick. Once we are done with the rough drawing, we used to go back to the property panel to change the color and the line weight, then trace the shape over the construction lines. So this time, let's create layers which will have these properties preset. Go to the layer properties and click on it, and a window will appear. For this drawing file, I have created some layers for a drawing which I will show you briefly after we've created the two layers. The first layer is the default layer and our current layer. And here you can see we have these yellow icons, which I will explain in a moment. We also have the color properties, which is this section over here. The line type, which is this one. And the line weight, which is this one. Above here, we have options to choose. Some are advanced settings, which we will discuss in advanced tutorials. So let's keep it simple for now and check out these four buttons. So with the first one, we can create new layers. We can freeze layers, we can delete, and we can set layers as current. Let's create the two layers we've talked about. So go to New Layer button and name the layer as Construction Line. Then we can assign the color to be yellow. And we can set the line weight to be thin, for example 0.05 mm. Create another layer, this time call it solid line, into brackets, final draw line. Then we can set the color as white. Then we can set the color as white and the line weight to be 0.30 mm. To have a nice well-defined thick line. Then close the window and let's create the same object we drew. But before that, let's make sure that on the properties section, all properties are set to be by layer, so that the layer settings will take effect when selected. Let's select from the drop-down menu the new construction line layer, and you will notice that the properties on the property panel will change accordingly. And we can now replicate the drawing using the one we created a moment ago. Take a look on how I use construction lines to transfer the shape and how I move the object to take each side accordingly. Once construction line work is done, choose from the drop-down menu the second layer we created, which is solid line, and trace the shape as we did for the first object. If you compare, you will see that the object is identical. And notice that this time the process was much simpler and faster to perform because of the preset layers. Let's not forget that the properties has to be set to their default setting, which is by layer, in order for the layer setting to take effect. Let's delete what we drew as we are through with the explanation, and I will show you a drawing which I have prepared for this tutorial in order to explore more options from the layer panel. So in front of us is a house plan of a single bedroom. Here you can see a deck or a veranda. There is a sitting room, a dining room, a kitchen, a toilet, and a bedroom. Notice that this drawing is quite colorful. So what happened here is that I drew the plan, then I assigned different layers for each specific element of the house in order to be able to modify them later on. As we can see these layers from the drop-down menu with each assigned color. Before we check these layers, let's delete the two layers we've created to practice on how to delete layers. Open the layer properties, then select the two layers. You can select multiple layers by holding the control button while selecting. Notice that there is a green tick next to the solid line layer, and this means it's the current layer, and you cannot delete a current layer. So let's make our current layer to be the first one, which is layer 0, by double clicking on the layer, and you will see the green tick has moved to the top layer. Then select the two layers we've created and click on delete layer option, and you'll see that they are gone. So this is how we delete layers. Okay, let's look at the drawing, and as we said before, we have assigned certain elements to specific layers. So if we click on the drop-down menu, you will see that these layers are named according to the element on the drawing. So we have walls, we have shed, which is this part, we have windows, which are these in green color, we have furniture, which is red in color, we have floor mats, which is these ones, we have the deck, which is this one, we have the doors, which are these ones, we have the counter, which is this section, and then you can see the appliances, which are these objects. So what is the use of these layers? Not only we use the layers to quickly change between the properties as we saw in the previous example, we can also do some modifications. So let's draw a washing machine, for example. I will select tools from the draw section such as line and circle and do a quick drawing. As you can see, whenever I draw, try to understand the process of how I go about drafting any object. It will help you to get a general idea on the drawing process. After we are done with the drawing, let's assign the drawing with the appliances layer, and you will see it will change to color pink. Now the cool feature about the layer properties is that we can modify the layers we've assigned. You can notice we have 3 yellow icons. So the first icon, which is the bulb icon, is used to show or hide the layer. The second icon is a kind of a sun icon, which is to freeze the layer, which we will talk about this feature in a more advanced tutorial. And the last one is the lock icon, which is used to lock and unlock the layer. These 3 options can be used to modify the drawing once it's cramped and you need to free some space and, let's say, concentrate on one element, and I will show you in a bit what I mean. So we've created our washing machine and assigned it to the pink appliances layer. And these ones in pink are also assigned to the same layer. So if I go to the drop-down menu and click on the bulb icon, it will hide all the appliances without deleting them. This way I can modify other elements without tampering with the appliances. Go back and click again on the icon and they will show again. Let's try this again. For example, I want to hide most of the layers and keep the main ones such as the walls and the doors. So as you can see, I can hide as I click on the bulb icon and they will hide and they won't be affected as I make my modifications on the present layers. Another example is when I want to modify two elements close to each other and I want to use one as a guide. For example, this carpet and the three-seater couch, which are close to one another. So for instance, I want to move the couch to the edge of the carpet. So I want the carpet to be visible, but I don't want to make any changes on the carpet. So of course, if I zoom in, I can select the couch without touching the carpet. But if there are other small details, it will be stressful to zoom in just to select an item. So we normally lock the nearby objects and do our changes accordingly. So if I go to the layer drop-down menu and lock the floor mats. Now if I select both couch and carpet, only the couch will be accessible for modification, as you can see here. So this is another example of modification using the layer property feature, which helps us greatly, and we will see in our upcoming tutorials more practical examples of this great feature. Let's unlock and see if we can move the two objects together. So as you can see, they are now free and can be moved. This is an essential video, so we only touch the surface. The most important thing is that now you know how to create layers and preset properties instead of doing them manually over and over again. And always remember that on the property panel, the options should be set as by layer to take effect. For example, if I change the color of the line property to be gray, then choose the floor mat layer, which is blue in color, you will see that the gray will still be there and it won't take effect. So always keep the setting as by layer. Layers are used both in model screen and also in the layout tabs, and I will dedicate a special tutorial for that. So stay tuned and thanks for watching. Please comment below for any questions. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Bye bye.